when you reach out to people for support, sometimes asking people for help is actually the best way to build a relationship. People like to help. Some of the best relationships I have created since starting my business is when I've asked for help. Or some of the best mentors. And I, again, wouldn't be here without some of those people. And it started by asking for help. So through answering the question, I've come to the conclusion that asking people for help is, I think, a really powerful way to get the help you need and build those networks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Your Successful Self. Today, I'm here with a man who calls himself, or who is called, the Gen Z coach. As to the reason why they call him that, I have no idea, which we are going to find out. But his name is Patrick Quinton-Smith. He's the man who has dedicated himself to coaching Gen Zs and ensuring that they get the best out of their lives. So, without much ado, I'm going to right straight into the conversation. Patrick, welcome to Your Successful Self.
Thanks so much, Emmanuel. Yeah, really happy to be here. Loving the studio setup. We got a good thing going on here.
Yeah. Well, thanks on that. But most importantly, I would, how do I put it? I will attribute, everything to our head of production, Lloyd, who is making it possible, because without him, none of these things, would be happening. So everything, is on him. Now, the reason why, the team and I thought it wise, to bring you onto the show is that, I think someone introduced you to me, that you are an amazing guy and you're doing an amazing work, as far as the lives of Gen Zs uh, are concerned. And I also had to look into you. And when I looked into you, looking at the stuff that I found, with you, I realized that, whoa, he really needs to come onto the show, So we decided that why not let's bring him, onto the podcast. Now, first of all, I want to find out from you, as we do with every guest that we get on the show, our platform is all about connecting, our audience to successful people like yours, like yourself, and look at the success strategies and the tactics that you've used, to get to where you are, helping millions of people out there as far as our coaching is concerned. So beginners from the background, where you were, before this day, how you step foot into the coaching world and
Yeah.
why Gen Zs, specifically,
Yeah. Great question. I think I've always known I wanted to have an impact of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know exactly what that was going to be, but I've always been quite passionate about the environment and things like that. And I knew I wanted to try and make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Again, didn't really know what it was, but in my first job, so when I left university, I was like, right, I need to start doing something that I feel like is making a difference. So I looked at different startups, and there was a really interesting company called Bulb Energy, and I was about 22 at the time. So
Mm-hmm.
I was, right at the start of my career, and this company was providing renewable energy to households, and it was the fastest growing company in all of Europe. So anyway, I started working for them, and I thought that I'd be happy
Mm-hmm.
once I was like, if I feel like I'm making an impact, I'm doing something for a company that's doing good, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
That's what first step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Turns out the actual day to day of your job and your life is quite important. So in my first job, like although the impact of the business was good, I really was not happy. Like in my day to day, I was doing a customer service role, and which was okay, but it was the intensity of the growth of the business and other factors. I was really, really unhappy. I had the worst mental health I'd ever had in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I also judged myself quite a lot. Um, like I've judged customer service role what I was doing as low value,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore I thought I was low value. So I was really struggling, and there was a number of other reasons. Anyway, I had a date in my diary to quit my job, so I was like, I'm just going to leave because I'm not doing very well. I wasn't progressing. I wasn't happy, so I'm just going to quit my job. The turning point and what led me to doing what I'm doing today, as I said, I was really struggling. There was a number of different factors, my mindset, loads of things that I won't go into just yet,
Mm-hmm.
that was making me in this situation. But then the business that I was working for funded a coach for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like literally the turning point for me, having somebody to sit me down and really ask about me. Like, what are you really good at? Like, what are you passionate about? Like, what do you want? Like, where are you going? Like, what's your superpowers? How can you have an impact? All those questions was like, wow, like I saw a path. Like I saw a path in the business. I was like, I love motivating people. I love helping people develop people, like becoming more successful, but understanding for them what success is, not just money. So that coach really helped me see a path in the business, and I didn't quit. I ended up staying another 3.5 years. I led loads of teams in a customer service role. And then I kind of became, I think the shift for me in that coach, I went from like so unhappy to being so engaged. I thought, I need to learn how to do this. Like this person who helped me is so cool. Imagine if I could help my team, like other young people. So I then learned how to coach, and that led to me, setting up a team of 240 people in the business, collecting £8.5 million worth of revenue in a year.
Oh.
And it all was from that coach. And I think, as I said, that made me realize like I need to be able to do this for others. And so I started investing. I did a short course in coaching. So at this time I was leading some other Gen Zers, other customer service members. So I was a team leader. Did a 10-week course in coaching, started using it, and they're like, this is cool. Like, I like this. I really like this approach, and it was getting really good results. My team was the top performing team. Like, this is like magic to me. Like this, the coaching. It's almost like, I don't know. It felt like some sort of superpower, but I was like, everyone can learn how to do this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So I felt I've never felt so much energy towards anything.
Yeah.
And I think talking about strategies,
Yeah.
focusing and paying attention to our body,
Yeah.
what gives us energy is just so important.
Yeah.
And I've never felt energy for the practice of coaching like I have anything else.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to just lean into this. So I decided to invest to become a certified coach with the International Coaching Federation.
Yeah.
They're one of the biggest governing bodies of coaching.
Yeah.
So I invested in myself to do that. And actually at that point, it was like a decision to be made. It was £5,000. I had to borrow money from my brother to do it.
Oh, that's
Thank you,
lot of
Bart.
money.
Thank you, my brother. He lent me some money. I was kind of like, why am I doing this? Do I want to be a coach? I didn't know yet. But I kind of just knew that I want this life skill. Like I describe it, feels like it can be like a superpower in helping people and unblock their performance. So I was like, this is just the person I want to be, and I got to invest in myself. That's probably the best investment I think you can ever make.
Yeah.
And when I started going into the program and learning it, again, it was just like, oh my God, I was obsessed. I was like, I've never wanted to learn about something so much.
Yeah.
And then that's when I realized, like, this is it. I think this is my calling. Like, and I started coaching people, my friends at the time. Yeah. And really having them help quite big breakthroughs. Like some of my friends felt very uncomfortable at the time. They're saying, like, you've changed my life. Yeah. I was like, geez. Yeah. Like, I didn't know what to say, but I just knew that it made me feel amazing. And I was so happy for them. So yeah, it's a process. And I was like, it got to the point where I just thought, I have to just leave my job and work this thing out. And then I set up, I've worked it out. And here I am today, the Gen Z coach, helping. The thing is, I want to provide the same transformation that I had like early in my career to other young people. I was so unhappy. Yeah. And then I turned things around and had a really great early career. And I've navigated those challenges. I've been through them, and I know what helped me get through it. So I'm like providing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you tagged on a lot of stuff, in your presentation, but one of the things that I want to, talk about is you finding yourself, working for a certain company, a multinational company, and you weren't happy. I mean, people work at jobs, get money, sort their lives out, and they're happy. So how come you found yourself working for, a certain company, like a multinational company, doing really well, but you weren't happy? What do you think was the reason why you weren't happy?
Yeah. I think a lot of it's down to my mindset. And I think I had a bit of a fixed mindset, and the definition of that is like believing that your capabilities are fixed. So you can't, in some contexts, I believe I couldn't really improve. I think I was like put insecure in my almost, I guess I was insecure in my self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
I probably didn't think I was quite good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I was desperate to prove myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we were assessed on quite a lot of performance metrics. So I was kind of just very anxious, like to
Mm-hmm.
prove that I was good.
Yeah.
And if I didn't feel I was doing well, I got negative feedback.
Yeah.
I would just like totally reject it. I then just took it so personally. So if I got any negative feedback, I would be like, well, I'm just rubbish. Like I can't do this job. They obviously don't want me here.
Yeah.
So if I'm not going to be successful here, I'm just going to leave.
Yeah.
Probably elements of entitlement,
Yeah.
like kind of feeling like maybe, things should be a bit easier and I shouldn't have to. There's lots of aspects of the job which I just didn't like. And I was resistant to like realizing that I had to just do it. I was kind of like, well, I don't want to do that,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think my mindset really, really held me back. And as I said at the start, I tied my self-worth to what I did. And so
Yeah.
I thought, I kind of felt I was better than doing customer service.
Yeah.
Maybe because of like, I don't know what my peers maybe were doing. Or I went to set up a business at university and an events business and just sold that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think subconsciously I probably thought I was better than it, which is a terrible mindset, but it held me back. And when my coach helped me realize all this, I was like, for God's sake, what am I doing? So it was really my mindset.
Yeah.
So it was nothing really to do with what was going on in front of me. It was my attitude to what was going on.
Yeah. And you think mindset was the only thing? You think identity wasn't part of it? Because in your presentation, you touched on identity as well. That probably it was one of the reasons why you weren't happy, because you found yourself in a job, earning good amount of money, but you weren't happy. And I think you made mention of the company, the company finding a coach for you, and based on the work that the coach help you do, you came across the right thing for you, and it set you on the path that you are on today. Don't you think identity was also an issue then, that because maybe you didn't know who you are and what you must do with your life, and because of that reason you weren't happy?
Yeah, it's such a good point. Like, I didn't. It's a really good point. Like, I didn't know, because I didn't know what I wanted, and maybe who I was and what I wanted. I didn't know why struggle, like why go through the pain. It comes back to almost resilience. Like, why go through the challenges of my day to day if I didn't know what it was all for? So I think, I didn't really know. I think I knew who I was in some ways, but there was still a lot of things that weren't in my awareness. Is that what you mean by identity?
I mean, identity, knowing who you are and what you must do with your life. I think they all hover around self-awareness, because I believe it's only when you are aware of yourself, who you are and what you must do with your life, then you can be able to make the right choices as to what
100%.
you must do, with your career and whatever, aspects of your life as well,
100%.
But I mean, I appreciate your honesty and, you touching on that aspect. But the next thing I like to talk about is that, I don't know if we were talking about this earlier, but one thing that I believe, or should I say, I've come to the realization with, is that, between dream or idea conception or vision to its achievement, there is a gap in between. And this gap is the journey, the process, So with your own situation, when you discovered yourself and realized that, oh, this is the right thing for me, this is the path that I must take, in life and with my life. How was the journey for you, between where everything began to where you are now? How was the process? What were some of the challenges, the obstacles, the whole journey and the whole process? How was it for you?
So I think a couple themes. I think fear is always something that holds people back, and understanding that and realizing that I just refuse to. I now just refuse to let fear stop me. Once I have that awareness that fear is stopping me from doing something, I'm like, got to do it. It's like it's almost like I've made almost like an agreement with myself. Once if I realize that if I don't want to do something because I'm scared, I'll have to do it. And I personally think that's a really powerful strategy. There's a book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I mean, there's loads of books on, because it's not, you can't avoid fear. It's not you can't have the absence of fear. It's having fear and doing the thing anyway. I guess it's courage.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I think that's really important in success, whatever success is. So I think when I realized that I wanted to be a coach, the safest thing in my mind at the time, without realizing I was thinking it was safe, was to coach internally. So I wanted to be, the internal coach. I wanted to be that person who'd support the young people, etc. And then one of my friends was like, why do you want to do that versus do your own thing?
Yeah.
And I made some justification. I really care about the company, its mission. Da, da, da. He was like, kind of, went silent. He's a good coach, my friend
Mm-hmm.
Sam, and he just went, I think you're just scared.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I was like, got to do it. Next day. So one of my strengths is turning my insights into action. When I realized that I was scared, the next day, I decided. I was like, that's it. We were away, and I just, with my iPad,
Mm-hmm.
I just started writing a business plan. I was like, what would I charge? How can I make this work? That was it. I made the decision once I realized it was fear holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably the first obstacle. But then it was, leaving the business and going from well-paid job to no income.
Mm-hmm.
again,
That
fear.
is
I was
that
like,
is
I'm
that
scared.
is one crazy moment that
I was
people
like,
experience, and it holds them back.
again, I was like, it's just fear. And I think I've always been really passionate about entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's been an entrepreneur, and I don't know, I sold sweets at school, and as I said to my business, I've studied business economics. I think I always knew that before I had a not necessarily long-term relationship, before I had proper responsibilities, it'd be harder to set up a business. So I think I just realized, like, oh God, now is the time to take the
Yeah.
risk.
Yeah.
I was scared, but I was just like, I believed in myself. I thought every problem that I've tried to overcome so far in my life, I've found a way.
Yeah.
So why would this be any different?
Find a way.
Find a
The
way. That's what we were
phrase.
talking about before. Find a way. And I was like, I think I've always had quite believed in myself. I doubt myself a lot, but I also
Yeah.
really believe in myself, and that I'm able to create something and have that impact. I know exactly what it was, but I knew I was passionate. I want to make a difference for young people. So find a way, and I
Yeah.
quit my job.
Yeah.
Had one client at the time.
Now,
But yeah, we'll stop there.
I want to stop you from there. When you made, the jump,
Mm,
from quitting your job, like the jump from income
mm.
to no income and begin on this path, uh how did you do it? Like, how did you master the courage to do so? And the reason why I'm chipping it in is that it's one aspect of the journey that, stop, people from, taking the leap, first of all, because knowing I'm on an income, I'm
Mm.
secure financially, I can be able to go about my life, knowing that the financial aspect of my life is taken care of too. Nothing, with the idea of pursuing this thing. First of all, you have no idea whether, it's going to be successful, or how things are going to pan out for
Yeah.
you. But here is the case. You said, I'm going to go for this, it's the
Mm.
right thing for me, and you took the jump. Like, how was the process for you? Like, how did you master the courage, to do it?
Yeah. There's three things I'd probably touch on. The first is um, that desire to
Mhm,
something to move towards.
mhm,
The other one was something I wanted to move away from,
mhm,
and the third, again, it was about the energy. So I think it relates to the first point. So I think I also so I wanted to what I wanted to move towards. I've already described my passion. I also saw the opportunity.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Like I would really believe if you want to gain a lot, you have to risk a lot, and we have to take risks in life
Yeah.
to make progress and achieve things that we want. I really believe you can't do much without taking risks, being
Yeah.
outside a comfort zone. And I saw the opportunity in the coaching industry, but also to support young people. I just saw how much they were struggling.
Mhm.
So I just knew, there's like a sense. I was like, I have to go to that. The other bit was I wasn't enjoying my jobs again.
Yeah.
Like I was leading a team of 240 people. I was in the debt collection space, and I love the leadership aspect of it, but I don't know. wasn't so important for me to feel like fulfilled, and I just wasn't fulfilled.
Mhm.
So I was unhappy in my job. The company had also gone into administration. So I think I didn't know what to do else. It
Yeah.
was kind of like, what else do I do? Literally, I was so sure, I
Yeah.
was so sure that I wanted to like be a coach and set up this business.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of what else. So I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know. It's almost like I was almost like it was almost like I didn't have a choice. I obviously did, but in my mind, it was like the only option. That's how it felt.
Yeah.
And I was also incredibly lucky that my parents said I could stay at theirs, so I didn't have to worry about rent. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
If I didn't have any parents or they didn't have the space or whatever, it would have been harder. But I
Yeah.
was lucky I did that, and I stayed at my girlfriend's parents as well. So yeah, what made me do it? I didn't feel like I had another choice.
Yeah.
That's what I really wanted,
Yeah.
and I knew I could live pretty low cost for a bit. Didn't know
Yeah.
how long, but a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I got you right, I would say in your own situation at the time, I would say pain and pleasure was the driver, the pain of having to be at where you were that you didn't like and you wanted to move away from there,
Yeah.
and the pleasure of knowing that this is where I'm going and I'd love to be there. And so because of that, irrespective of the difficulty or the fear, you
100%.
took the jump. Now someone might say, oh, maybe he was fortunate at the time to be able to do this, and in my own situation things are not as the way it was, it worked for him. So if someone is watching us or listening to us and they need to take that jump, but they are afraid because they know that when I try, I'm going to lose my income. I'm going to be in a space whereby finances are going to be difficult for me, and more so, I don't know whether this journey or this path I'm trying to take is going to be successful or not.
Yeah.
What would you say to that person?
Yeah. Pick your hard. Pick your hard.
Pick your heart.
Yeah, because whatever route you're gonna pick, it's hard.
It's hard everywhere.
Yeah, it's hard everywhere. So like the pain of me being on one trajectory in my life, which I knew I could earn money, but I was like, one, I feel like that money's limited in a way, but two,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be happy. Like I could see where my life was going. I was like, that's not what I want. That was too painful.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's one hard.
Yeah.
I'll be unhappy.
Yeah.
And then if I'm unhappy, how is that going to be for my future wife, for my future kids? Like how I want to show up in the world. Like my energy is so important. So I was like, that's hard. But then the first year of starting the business, that other road was also really hard.
Yeah.
But now it's worked out, and I think this is the happiest I've ever been, genuinely.
Yeah.
And like because I feel like I'm starting to like live into my potential and what I'm passionate about doing. So you gotta choose your hard and gotta take risks.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
And also, it's never a right time. Like that fear, just fear that's holding us back. Like it's never a right time. But I think if you really want something, you don't want to live with regret. That's hard.
Yeah.
You want to look back and go, yeah, didn't do that thing, or I tried. Both are hard. To pick it.
Yeah. Yeah. In your own story, I realized that to take the leap, away from we talking about pain and pleasure, reasons, a strong why, a strong reason, because you spoke about the life that you can afford to your wife and your kids. Like, how were you going to be able to do that?
Yeah.
It was the main reason that drove you to take the jump and be on the path. And it kind of bring me to the reason why the idea of start with why is so such a great motivator that the moment you get to know your why, your strong reason for whatever you want to do, it kind of make things a bit easy. Now, I like you to talk to me about the idea of relationship, as far as some of these journeys and some of these paths that we pursue in life is concerned. Simply because you spoke about your parents and your girlfriend's parents being the support system for you as at that time to help you have a comfortable place to stay, to focus on the journey. So with that aspect, how would you describe relationship? Because I am of the view that, when it comes to some of these things, having a support system and a great relationship that can, spare you on, help you, whatever way
Mm,
possible, is so, so awesome. And the reason why I'm saying this is that, I mean, look at this podcast that we are on. Being in the country for over a year, and I wanted to do this, because it's one of the reasons why, I moved from Spain to here. And I wasn't finding the ways and means because I don't have the resources. And you meet people on the streets, you explain your idea to them that, hey, we can do this, build a business out
mm,
of it, and make an impact. And you know how the system is right now. Everybody want their money quick.
mm.
If I had not been this man that I met, Lloyd Gardner, we wouldn't be here. And it's all based on the relationship, what he
Yeah,
saw in me, and deciding that, hey, there's someone who wants to have an impact on the world, and it's
yeah,
worth helping, and because of that, we are here. So can you talk to us about, the idea of relationship, as far as the journey is concerned?
yeah. Feel emotional even thinking about it. Like I'm so
Please
lucky,
don't
man.
cry. Don't cry,
I'm
please don't
I'm
cry.
I'm just really lucky. Like I've got such amazing people around me. Like my
Mhm.
family's incredible. Like my direct family, my siblings, my parents, my friends are just so supportive. I think every step of the journey, people have people have really believed me. Don't get me wrong, people have questioned it
Yeah.
and gone because I guess also people want to keep you safe.
Mhm.
Like maybe that's not a good idea, but you know, I've really had that support. My mum was the first person who planted the seed in my mind about me being a coach. She was like,
Oh,
do that, like you'd be amazing at it. And
she
it was
must be amazing.
she's amazing, she's a special woman. But that was like a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
So without her saying that, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have considered it. I don't know. My brother, as I said, my brother was the first person who recommended I get a coach when I was really struggling.
Yeah.
Um, my brother lent me money to do the coaching program.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, my parents let me stay. I mean, at every single step of the way, like relationships have supported me. Um, just emotionally, my girlfriend's just been unbelievable.
Mhm.
She's found
Lucky
it
you.
hard.
Lucky you.
She found it really hard.
Lucky
The
you.
first year, yeah, the first year of the business, was a really challenge, but
Mhm.
that brought us together. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm struggling to answer this fully because there's so many people. Like one of my friends, Sam, he's just believed in me so much.
Yeah.
It just extends back, I'd say, as a kid. Like my grandmother just has instilled me with so much confidence about
Yeah.
myself, and she was like, you've got to believe in yourself. If you want me to believe in you, I'll back you if you back yourself.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, that's just instilled in me today. So yeah, so many people have supported me, and without them, definitely wouldn't be sitting here.
Wow. The story, your story kind of make me think about Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers,
Mm,
the story of success. I don't know if you've read that book,
mm,
and one of the things that he talks about in the book, as far as the way to success is concerned, is about, the family in which one comes from,
mm,
that, it plays a pivotal role in it, because if you come from, excuse my language, a shitty family, then it's going to be hard.
mm,
And the reason I'm saying this is that, from your own story, I realized that you come from a great family. You had a mother who believed in you, a grandmother, brother, and folks, friends, your girlfriend, all believing in you and spurring you on. Some people are not that fortunate to come
yeah,
from such a family that, based on what they want to do with their lives, they have people to, see that idea, or should I say, that energy, or that vision, or that dream in them, and say, hey, it's possible, you can do that, believe in yourself.
mm,
So if someone is listening to us or watching us, and they don't have this sort of people around them,
mm,
but they feel in their heart that they are meant for more, and they can do more and have an
yeah,
impact on the world, but they don't have those relationships around them, and they are struggling, and to even begin the journey, first of all, it's been a struggle for them. What would you say to them? Like, how could they go about, finding the right people, having that right relationships in their life, so that
yeah,
they can be able to, do whatever they feel within their hearts?
yeah. That's a great question, and I actually
Mm,
feel like you'll
mm.
be very. I kind of want to put it back on you because I feel like you've got some really good answers
Oh,
for
okay. Okay, let's do this.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before I would answer you, I want to hear what you have to
Fine.
say first. Yeah.
I only asked that because you told me before we started filming.
Yeah.
I think I kind of what you basically did, like speaking to people and like conveying yourself. I think just basically trying to create the relationships,
Yeah.
which might sound simplistic, but
Yeah.
putting yourself out there and trying to meet people. And
Yeah.
I think what you said before, like
Yeah.
the right people will come into your life. But I kind of also believe that we need to try and what's the word, like put our energy to a frequency that will attract the right people into our life that can support us. So I think, yeah, trying to work on yourself as
Yeah.
well, which is something I think I've always tried to do.
Yeah.
And then just trying to, yeah, give to others and meet others. And because when you reach out to people for support, sometimes asking people for help is actually the best way to build a relationship.
Yeah.
People like to help.
Yeah.
Some of the best relationships I have created since starting my business
Yeah.
is when I've asked for help.
Yeah.
Of some of the best mentors.
Yeah.
And I, again, wouldn't be here without some of those people. And it started by asking for help. So through answering the question, I've come to the conclusion that asking people for help is, I think, a really powerful way to get the help you need and build those networks.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Now my own answer, it's like you've rightly stated, sometimes some people, how do I put it? This is how they put it, like uh you are full of, how do I put it? It's like you are that person onto people, all the time. Like whenever you meet people, you want to go and speak to them about your issues and stuff like that. It's not good. And I'll go like, whoa, like, yeah, you may be right, but how do you expect me to, bring about these ideas that I'm carrying in my heart? It's all about speaking to people. And sometimes, you may think that, oh, maybe the way I go about it isn't the right way. That is the only way that I know. Speak to people. That does that mean that when you speak to people, things are going to work out right away for you? No, there's going to be a ton of rejection. But here's the thing. Out of every rejection, comes a yes. You can speak to 1,000 people, and if not at all, you can get 10 people, to say, hey, you know what? I think I like your idea and I like where you want to go with your life, So this is how I can help you.
Yeah.
And bringing it back to, our head of production, Lloyd, he told me when I met him and I spoke to him about my ideas, he was like, well, I don't have the resources to help you, but, this and that are the stuff that I can do to help you, So if you are willing to take on, my offer, I'm willing to help you. So let's do this. And here we are, away from it, like, back to what you said once again. This is how I've gone about my stuff, speaking to people, Sometimes people may reject you, but at least you have someone who will be willing to listen to you and help you whichever way possible. And that is how come, I've also, go about, building my relationship, So it makes sense. Now, I want to bring the conversation to what you do. I mean, you've taken us, to your background, you've narrated to us, about your story, like how everything started with you, where you are coming from and all that. And now you've built, a company, the Gen Z coach, company, which is doing amazing. I mean, before this day, I researched into you. I went to your website. I saw the work that you are doing and the testimonials over there. They were crazy, like crazy, I was like, whoa, this guy is killing, like he's killing it. He's kicking asses over here, First of all, how do I put it? Gen Z coaching. Why specifically Gen Zs? Because as far as the coaching world is concerned, and as far as, I know, when it comes to coaching, everybody's just out there, rendering their services to whoever that comes along the line.
Of course.
But you have niched down. Someone may ask, why niching down? And why Gen Zs? When in the pond or in the sea is a whole lot of fish and you can go for everybody, but you have decided that no, I'm not going for everybody, but strictly Gen Zs. Why? What's the idea behind it?
Yeah. So from what my understanding is like micro niching. Actually, it's like contradictory almost. You think that by having a smaller pool you get less fish, so to speak, but actually when you can really narrow down you solve a very specific problem
Mm-hmm.
that actually lots of people have, and it makes you stand out. I, you know, it's you got to play to your strengths as a business.
Yeah.
You need to there needs to be product market
Yeah.
fit, and like if I just say I'm coaching managers, or I'm coaching, CEOs, whatever. Let's just say that
Mm-hmm.
people go, well, you're 28. Like, how do you know how to do that? Like, age bias. They're like, what experience have you got? So
Mm-hmm.
suddenly my age becomes a disadvantage.
Oh.
That's what. So that was the biggest thing I first came up against. By the way, when I first started my company, I didn't know it was going to be exactly the Gen Z coach. I called it Quinton's Coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and I was still helping young people.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that wasn't people didn't know that because the name. Um, but now I am very targeted. I'm helping young people become the best they can be in the workplace, find fulfillment, build productivity, and like progress in their careers. But helping businesses, helping leaders, managers support them, understand them, get the best out of them. Now suddenly my age is a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, I'm instantly credible because I am Gen Z. I'm one of the oldest of the Gen Zs. I've been through the same struggles as them. I've navigated the same channels. I can communicate with them. And actually, I think my super strengths where I've positioned myself is I'm like a conduit. I can translate
Yeah.
senior leaders speak.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand them and speak to them just as well as I can speak to young people.
Yeah.
So when there's a disconnect between them,
Yeah.
I receive that information. I can pass that on in a way that is received.
Mm-hmm.
So by positioning myself in this niche, it just makes sense
Yeah.
to me.
It
It's
does.
like,
It
as a
does.
business, you kind of, I guess, I've learned a lot through business, just
Yeah.
about myself and everything. But like, you also need to do what the market, like, you need to listen to the market.
Yeah.
What do people want?
Yeah.
Not just what do I want.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
That's a big one.
Mm.
And I must say, uttering these words, you've even stretched my mind to something that I've not looked into. Like I haven't bring it into my thinking to know that it's not about what you want, but it's about what the markets out there want. So I think it's an important point that you've tagged on, and it makes sense. Now, away from helping Gen Zs, sort out their lives, there is another aspect of your coaching or the work that you do with them, which is uh, helping business leaders, like you've talked on,
Yeah.
see the best in Gen Zs because of the they are mostly of the view that Gen Zs are lazy, they are hard to work with, and a whole lot, which you believe otherwise. That no, that is not the case.
Yeah.
Gen Zs have a lot to offer. They have the hunger and the desire to make an impact.
Yeah.
Wherever they would find themselves. And
100%.
so according them with the right resources and stuff like that, they can bring on board should I say expertise and ideas and things that could pan out very well for an organization, and you helping businesses with that aspect as well. I guess the question I'm going to ask is that why do you think before this day businesses have been harboring that belief or have been holding on to that belief that Gen Zs are lazy and whatever? Why do you think so? And even though you believe otherwise, do you think that belief first of all stands? Like, is it true at all? Because
Yeah.
I'm not a Gen Z, I'm a millennial, and I haven't had the opportunity to work, thoroughly, with Gen Zs in the aspect of coaching. You have, so I think you will be the right person to speak to some of these issues. You know.
Great. Well, no, I don't think it's true. I think I can understand the perception of why people might think that, but the reality is that it's not true. I believe that if young people are in the workplace and they're not working as hard as they could and they're not really motivated, I think that's a bit the business's problem. I would say that that's a leadership problem, that they're not giving them a reason to want to work hard, or maybe the way that they're communicating with their employees is making them feel disempowered or unmotivated. So yeah, I think I just one thing that stems to my mind is where there's a disconnect is like some young people that they really care about protecting their mental health and setting up boundaries in their career. I think they recognize that we're going to be working till we're about 80 years old. So we want to have some longevity. They've witnessed their parents burn out, you know, like working like non-stop, you know, maybe making good money, but like burning out, maybe not being that happy. They've seen that and like, is, you know, is money and hard work the route to happiness? Looking at my parents, maybe not. So I think there's a little bit of that. So it's like, right, I want to be here for the long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So, you know, I'm going to finish at 5 o'clock. That is so alien to a business leader. Like, what the hell are they doing? Like, we're not here to, you know, make money. So why are they doing that? They're lazy. So, but then I argue is that these beliefs then become self-fulfilling prophecies. If I'm a business leader and I am like, God, I've got such a lazy young team. How do you think I'm going to communicate with them? It's going to feed off. If I was a young person, you're going to feel that. You know, maybe if they take a short break, you might be like, why are you having a break? You know, that's not going to land well. And then if you're feeling like your boss doesn't trust you and that they think you're lazy, you'll be like, well, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to put in the extra hours for you anyway because you don't believe in me. You don't trust me. Then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I really think that the biases, I know from my own experience as well, that our biases about others then impact our communication and then impacts the other person's behavior. So my encouragement is, if you are a business leader and you have some of these views, I would really encourage you to check that and just try and shift their mindset. Believe in them. Believe that they want to work hard, that they can be trustworthy, that they're totally creative, and that they can actually be a massive support in your business. How would you then communicate and show up with them? If you come from that place, I can almost guarantee you'll get a different result.
So talking about that, you know, I know that your work mostly focus on Gen Zs, you know, but talking about what you've spoken about on the other side of the coin, which is business leadership, business leaders, are you in the course of your work also making them know about some of these things that you've spoken about, you know, with respect to these young champs or these Gen Zs? And the reason why I'm saying this is that though I'm not a Gen Z, but I'm equally a human being just like any other person. And for me, I value freedom, you know, than any other thing as far as this life is concerned. Like, I don't like to be micromanaged. You know, if I happen to work with you or if I have to work with you, all I want is for you to tell me that, hey, this is what we want you to do, and that's it. When you tell me that, don't come around trying to micromanage me or whatever it is. I don't like that. It could be that, you know, some of these issues that, you know, comes up with Gen Zs and business leaders that, you know, you are feeling in that need to solve that problem. It could be that some of these Gen Zs are like me, you know, and these business leaders sometimes, I don't know, for whatever reason, some people like to micromanage, you know. They tell him that, do that. Most people also don't like that. You know, so are you also making the business leaders know some of these things so that in dealing with Gen Zs, they can be able to go about in the right way so that they can be able to tap into the potentials that these young champs carry, you know, to be able to, you know, impact the organizations and make the world a better place?
100%. I think what you're asking is, like, the things that I'm helping leaders with, is it not just for young people, it's for like the rest of the organization? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Well, yeah, to me, it's a multi-generational approach. Like, I think I've become aware of like leadership approaches which might work for some other generations. They might be used to it, but definitely don't work for Gen Z. But I've noticed some leadership approaches which definitely work for Gen Z, but also help everyone else. So I think it's adapting, and it's like, so the things I'm sharing, it's not just for young people, it's really for the whole organization. But I know for sure, because I am Gen Z and I work with them, like, this is what really gets results. Like, the communication style, like, rather than just like telling and that command and control, do as I say, like, just doesn't fly for young people. They need to feel heard and listen to value. Everyone does, particularly young people. So if you're going to tell them, start with why. Like you said, if you're saying you want to do this thing, what's the benefit to them? What are they going to get out of it? What's the benefit to the business, the wider organization, the team? Once you understand that, you can kind of give them freedom to work out how to do it, as long as they know the end result. and the impact that's needed.
Yeah.
So we're kind of up to them to do their thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Now, I like to, divert the conversation a bit.
Sure.
I'll come back to it. When we began the conversation, you spoke, one of the things that you touched on was purpose,
Yeah.
and meaning, and everything in between. Speak to us about that very thing as far as our lives, are concerned, because you know, well, this is what I know. I think, purpose and meaning is everything as far as our lives, are concerned. But with some people, the moment that concept or that idea come into the
Yeah.
picture, they go like, oh, here they come again. These people, whatever. And I'm always going like, yo, without purpose and meaning, your life is nothing, because you haven't been brought into the world, by yourself.
Mm.
A bigger force out there, God, whatever, Allah, whatever that you refer to it, brought you here. And he or she, depending on your belief system, brought you here for a reason. And so discovering that reason and, going about it, is the reason why you are here. So to live a life without purpose and meaning, without, going about your life whenever the day is here,
Yeah.
as if there's no reason behind this life. It's not the right way to live, but you have been there, you've gone through the journey, and now you're helping others, with their lives and businesses as well. Can you speak to us about, that very thing, purpose and meaning,
Yeah.
as far as our lives are concerned?
Yeah, I just love this topic so much. Like, it's so important. I think that's what I was lacking. When I was really unhappy in my job, you asked why I was unhappy.
Yeah.
It was that, like, what is that? Like, what is that purpose and meaning for me? I don't
Yeah.
know. And then when I started to understand that it was about helping others and helping develop others, like, and helping others find more fulfillment and confidence, that was like my way in. I'm just gonna. You asked mentioned that some people find it like rejected a bit,
Yeah.
and I think that's because maybe people don't have that, and
Yeah.
they're just like find it too overwhelming. What, I'm meant to like find my purpose? How the hell do I do that? And one thing I'll say is like, again, just I call it directional correctness. Like, if
Yeah.
you find something that feels like maybe a bit purposeful, just lean into it, take action. Clarity reveals itself in momentum.
Yeah.
Through action, things reveal itself. Like, what I feel is my purpose now, like it's like it used to be maybe this wide, or I think it's like this, it's narrower and narrower and narrower the more I move into it. And it's just going to keep happening, so and the more you narrow it down and get close to it, I think the more energy and fulfillment you find. But you got to start somewhere. So even if you think, I think I like this kind of stuff, I feel like this is where I can add value to the world. Just lean into it, take action towards it, because I think that's really where our growth and fulfillment is. So I totally agree. It's so important.
Yeah. Now, before this day, I live in my head a lot.
Okay.
The reason is that, I mean, we are, how do I put it? We are intellectual brats, or whatever the right phrase, maybe, like, I think through things a lot, because of some of these spaces that we find ourselves, because wanting to be a writer or an author, I think this is how you go about it. Every day you are thinking about ideas, how to go about, writing stuff or explaining to others in the world, and stuff like that. And thinking about things, the last time, a thought appeared to me. And what I came to the realization was that, people talk about purpose, but also there isn't one definite purpose on our lives. And what I saw was that, based on where you are, in your life, and what you seek to do or you want to do, based on that particular time, and whatever that you are doing, that is your purpose, which means that, you can move on from that stage to the next stage.
Yeah.
And, when you are in the new stage, whatever that you are doing is also your purpose, which means that
100%.
we don't have a single purpose over our lives. And in the course of our lives, things do change. Have you ever thought about that? And would you side me over that?
100%. I totally agree with that. I think, I think that's why people get scared. They're like, oh, there's one purpose. What if that's not it? And I think you said you're in your head a lot. I think it's like what's right in front of us right now.
Yeah.
Like right now, my purpose is being here with you and sharing this information so we can maybe help others.
Yeah.
And I think it does change. And I think it's actually, I can answer a little bit around what the evolution of my business. Like
Mm-hmm.
it kind of found me, the niche. Like I was just trying to help young people who weren't working for businesses. But then as I was talking to people like you, business people, leaders were like, "Oh, I want you to like coach in my business. I think you could help my employees."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh." I thought like so my purpose sort of shifted in a way, like same outcome, but I think, you talked about God, but I feel like the universe kind of shows us a way if we're
Yeah.
prepared to listen.
Yeah.
And I think that's how our purpose can evolve. We've got
Yeah.
to be open to finding what it is
Yeah.
and seeing
Yeah.
where the road takes us.
Yeah. Yeah. Speak to us about self-awareness as well, because these are some of the stuff that you tagged on earlier on, And if one is watching us and they probably may be asking the question, so how do I develop self-awareness? Like how does one develop self-awareness in their
Mm.
life? Which I feel is the beginning of everything.
Yeah.
As a coach, helping so many people out there. If you have to advise someone on how they can come about developing self-awareness and being bullish into it, and helping their lives with it, how would you like, what would you say to them? Like how would you advise them on developing that very thing?
Yeah. It's a great question. I mean, obviously, a coach can really help with that because,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to be a coach. I mean, I recommend you do because coaches know the types of questions to ask. But you might have a friend who is just naturally curious,
Mm-hmm.
and you could ask them, "Can you coach me?" If
Mm-hmm.
you want to pay for a coach and get can you coach me? I want to just having a conversation, like asking. You have to be asked questions about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that's in a conversation or even journaling, I journal a lot
Yeah.
to build self awareness. I
Yeah.
journal a lot because we can't
Yeah.
think things through as well.
Yeah.
I think we have to write them down
Yeah.
or ask them. So it's really about self reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that in many ways. As I said, a coach, a friend, journaling,
Mm-hmm.
but with the intention of learning more about yourself. So questions like, what value can I bring? What are my strengths? I think that for young people particularly, like less realizing what your strengths are, what value you have, and what gives you energy,
Mm-hmm.
what your values are.
Mm-hmm.
All these are such important questions to understand because they're pieces of a jigsaw. You know, pieces of a jigsaw which help you tap into like your true power
Mm-hmm.
and where you can have value. And I think once you have an awareness of that, it's and maybe you have an idea of where you want to go, it's then easier to just see opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
and the pieces of the jigsaw can slowly start to put together. So
Mm-hmm.
how to do it, you can do, I don't know, free strengths tests online.
Yeah.
There's a Simon Sinek Start With Why. There's
Yeah.
videos that help you and exercise online to help you do that. There's loads of stuff, but it doesn't happen by osmosis. It takes like intention,
Mm-hmm.
and time.
Yeah.
But it can be done. It's
Yeah.
so critical. What do you think?
Patrick, man, you were a gem, And the reason I'm saying you were a gem is that, how old are you? You are 26 now, right?
28.
28
Yeah.
now. I mean, 28, what you've done with your life so far and you keep doing, they are stuff that some of us could only dream of. And the reason why I'm saying this is that at the age of 28, I wasn't, in any way or anyhow closer to where you are at 28.
Mm.
At 28, I didn't know who I was. There was nothing like self-awareness around me. I didn't know who I am, what I must do with my life. Whenever the day was here, I mean, even the day being here, I was all the time going to bed high.
Mm.
I would wake up high, go through the day high. And I was, how do I put it? I was totally ignorant about
Yeah.
life. I was just living, being an everyday Joe, just being everything and anything. But if you look at your own case, uh, your story and the things that you've been able to achieve so far, it's incredible. And
Thank you.
away from that, the gem and the knowledge that you're sharing with us, me sitting here listening to you, it's also fascinating. You've built a company, you're helping people out there. It's crazy. Like it's awesome, and I want to appreciate you with that. Now,
Thanks, Emmanuel.
the question I want to ask is, now you have a company going, like you've built this company, you're helping people out there, life is at least, going smoothly some way, somehow.
Yeah.
For you, today you are in France, tomorrow you are there, business trips and all that, how does it feel, to be the person that you are now? Do you feel fulfilled, like happy and
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you. It's incredibly kind. I really,
yeah,
really
yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Um, I feel really fulfilled, genuinely, because like this is what I wanted to do, and it's so satisfying when you
Hmm.
like think, oh God, I'd love that to be my life, and then you start living in it. It's
Hmm.
like did that.
Yeah,
It's yeah, I think about it like almost every day. I
yeah,
feel so grateful, like for to myself, like I took those risks and I've wanted to have this impact, and I feel like I'm doing it. Like I
yeah,
feel like I'm really on that path, and it feels really great.
yeah,
But when I first started, as I was starting it, I found it really hard. I wanted to be coaching.
yeah,
I wasn't coaching. I was
yeah,
like, I call myself a coach. I don't have clients.
yeah.
Like, am I a joke?
I mean,
That's but then so now, and I'm coaching almost every day. Supporting businesses almost every day. Like, yeah, it feels awesome. But I also just know that there's so much more
yeah,
to places to go. So
yeah,
yeah, I feel very, very content at the
yeah,
moment.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
proud,
yeah,
to be honest.
yeah, yeah. Isn't that amazing? Because looking at what you've explained and looking at how things actually are, it's just amazing to me. Simply because it's always gets harder
Mm,
before it gets better, and so being able to have the patience to go through the process, the hard phase of it, being able to go over it and be in the space in which you are now,
mm,
I think it's also awesome. And I would entreat everyone watching us to look into you, which when we are about to wrap up the interview, you put up your social media handles and your website and
yeah.
everything out there, so that when people want to get in touch with you, they could do that for help and be are able to experience this amazing life that you are experiencing, being in that space that you are now. Because trust me, speaking to you, all that I'm seeing on you is joy. This someone who is doing what he loves to do with
Mm,
his life, and he's enjoying it. And it's not even about the money alone, but the freedom that comes
mm,
within knowing that I've done the work, and now I need to reap the fruit of my labor. Now I want to bring the conversation back to what you do, the coaching, Gen Z strictly, in the course of going about working with them, coaching with them, either sorting out their life or trying to get them match up with the right companies and businesses for them to have careers. What are some of the challenges and the difficulties that you experience with these people? Is there anything that you find around them that is different from other generations, and
mm.
you could sometimes go like, these people are a pain in the ass?
That's funny. No, I've never thought particularly a pain in the ass because
Maybe my words are harsh. Forgive
yeah,
me.
yeah. I think like just lacking confidence and being anxious can stop people from taking action. So I guess the only time when I could feel maybe frustration is when you see so much potential in people and someone, and then they aren't taking actions for whatever reason. But what I find a lot of the time is that either they aren't clear on why and where they want to go, or they're lacking, so they don't have that self awareness,
Mhm,
or they're lacking that confidence,
mhm.
and don't want to take the risks. So, but I don't get annoyed at that. I feel empathy for that because
Yeah,
I've felt in similar ways in different times in my life.
yeah,
So, but that's the thing. Once you can help people overcome that and
yeah,
solve those challenges, then it's just
yeah,
like bam,
yeah,
like they're on fire,
yeah, yeah,
and that's the magic for me. That's what I
yeah,
love. So yeah, this generation we're generation's more anxious
yeah,
because of things like social media and more awareness of having technology distracting us the whole time. Maybe let some less social connection.
yeah,
So that's probably the biggest difference and challenge that
yeah,
Gen Z face. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Talking about the lack of confidence and the anxiety hovering
Mm,
around this generation, I side with you on that. Lately, I chanced on a book that I'm reading. I'm not through with it yet, called Lost Connection.
yeah.
Written by Johan Harry. I think the guy is a British. I hope I've gotten the name right. And in the book he talks about the reason why our generation are full of anxiety and depression, all that.
Mm.
And one of the things that he speaks about in the book is what you've talked about,
Yeah.
you know um feeling disconnected, from
Mm.
people, like that disconnection from people and getting glued to our gadget or technological equipment is the reason why. But I how do I put it? The answer that you've given is perfect, and I side with you on that. Now my next question is: so far you've done an amazing job, helping all these youngsters out there, and you keep on doing, away from the coaching and the company that you've built. Are there other things in the picture that we've not seen about you yet, and you're thinking on,
Mm.
bringing on board and serving the world with it?
A good question. I think the first thing that comes to my mind is like I'm doing a lot of coaching, but what I really love is like speaking, public speaking, like what we're
Yeah,
doing now. But I'm starting to really I want to lean more into making my own content and kind
yeah,
of project messages to directly to young people.
yeah,
So like as I said, I've been through a lot of the challenges and I've gone through them. So if I can share what I've learned and
yeah,
help them
yeah,
in a great way, then like
yeah,
that, I think I see that I just see that as a way to reach more people. Like
yeah,
there's only one of me, and I can only coach so many people or
yeah,
businesses at a time.
yeah,
But through social media, you can reach unlimited amounts of
yeah,
people. So
yeah,
I'm starting to really realize how powerful it can be to help
yeah,
people.
yeah,
And actually, LinkedIn approached me. I did a video for LinkedIn.
yeah,
It came
yeah.
out yesterday,
Oh,
which is really cool.
yeah,
I did some advice on how to find the right job for young people.
yeah,
So I've already talked about some of the
yeah,
things. So
yeah,
really, I think alongside the coaching content, that bringing aspects of what I coach, but
yeah,
like just online
yeah,
content that's
yeah,
really going to help people.
yeah.
So that seems like a big opportunity for me
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment.
It's amazing, and I'm happy that you gearing towards that space and trying to venture into it, and people contacting you, for example, LinkedIn
Mm,
contacting you for such a gig. Uh, Lately, when it comes to public speaking,
mm,
what I realized was that, sometimes some of us, we set out, with the idea that I want to pursue public speaking.
mm,
You know, I have been, one of those people for only God knows how long. But what I realized lately was that public speaking isn't something that you pursue.
mm,
You know, it's all about being an authority
mm,
in a certain, in something,
yeah,
and out of you being that authority based on the impact that you're having on people and the service that you're giving to people see your work and they invite you for public speaking,
yeah,
and that journey begins. That is what I realized lately.
really,
And you would agree with me with that. Most people out there doing public speaking, stuff, it wasn't because they set out that, hey, I want to pursue public speaking, I'm a public speaker, hey, hire me to come and speak at your events and
mm,
stuff like that. It based on the work that they are doing, either through writing or through coaching
yeah,
or whatever, and based on the result that they are giving people, people are inviting them. So if I have to say anything to that, well, first of all, this is my realization. What I've said is my realization about it. And if I have to say anything to that, what I would say is that keep doing what you are doing. Don't focus on just saying I'm going to be a public speaker and pursue that. No, just keep serving people,
mm,
share your content online,
exactly,
coaching people, and based on the impact that you'll be having people, you attract,
yeah,
the right people for you to come and do stuff like that. That is what I've realized, lately. And so
100%.
I've realized that, oh, you don't have to just focus that much on that aspect. Just
Mm,
focus on what you want to do,
yeah,
the service that you want to render to humankind, and out of it, if you want to be a public speaker, people would invite you on that. Now, the next question I want to ask is, so far so good. You know, the company is doing well. You are in a space whereby you love so much doing whatever you want to do. If there is anybody out there who is watching us, or they are listening to us and they carry similar ideas, that they want to do such a thing, but they don't know how to go about it the right way. They don't have a specific blueprint to
mm,
follow that. Oh, this is the right step. First of all, away from identifying myself and my passion and whatever I want to do, and knowing that this is what I must do, and I must seek a coach and whatever, you know, is there any blueprint or any idea or any plan, like a structured way that one can use to realize their potential, like yourself, that you can say that, okay, if you are in such a space and you have such a thing on your heart and you want to pursue it but you don't know how to start, go about things this way. Is there anything that you could say to such a person so that they would come to that realization of where to begin?
Yeah, it's a really good question. What do I say? I think the thing that has always helped me is coaching.
Yeah.
I come back to it. That's just why I do what I do.
Yeah.
It's why I do what I do, because it helps you go from where you are to a place you want to go, but don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
Like a good coach helps you navigate that. You
Yeah.
don't know what the path is,
Yeah.
and there's no blueprint. There's maybe, I don't know. I don't have one.
Yeah.
I'm working out as I bloody go along.
Yeah.
I have no idea really
That
what
is
you're
an
doing.
interesting thing, saying there's no blueprint. And the reason why I'm saying it's interesting is that, before this day, most self-help gurus or coaches, through some books that I've read, talk about there being a blueprint, like come up with a plan,
Yeah.
and blah blah blah, and follow that plan. And so for you to say there's no actually a blueprint, which is which?
Yeah.
Or you haven't come across anything like that
Well,
in the course of your journey.
thing is, there are blueprints to solve specific problems.
Oh, okay.
Like for example, I have my own blueprint. If someone's entering a business and they want to set themselves up for success, I have a blueprint for that because I know what's worked for me. So I guess if I had to think of a blueprint, it's what a structure that you have in coaching. A really simple structure is like realizing what you want, your goal.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? Get really clear on that.
Yeah.
Get really clear on that. But then you've got to be clear on like what this current situation is. So your reality. So like what's actually going on? How much money have I got in the bank?
Yeah.
What's my confidence? All this stuff. And then it's like, well, so this is where I am. This is where I want to go.
Yeah.
What's in between?
Yeah.
Like what are some options, opportunities to get there? Like, okay, I see this, I see this, I see this. These are some opportunities. And then it's like, okay, well, what's the best route? Commit to one. Just take an action, one action. Okay, maybe I could go here. I think this is probably the best thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for that. Take one step. And then once you're at that step, go again.
Yeah.
And I think so that's the grow framework in coaching. So goal, reality, options, and then your way forward.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's a way to help, but ultimately a blueprint is just to take action.
Yeah.
Think less and do more. That's something I'm constantly trying to work on.
Yeah.
Just do something, because the clarity of the way forward reveals itself when you're making momentum.
Yeah.
So if that's a blueprint, then that's a blueprint.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that you could speak about, where you are and where you want to go, and looking at the space in between, which is the journey, and factoring into it the opportunities and the obstacles that you are likely to come across, and being clear about things before beginning the journey. And the reason why I'm speaking to it is that not long ago I had to look at my life all over again. The things that I've set out to achieve before this day, the ones that worked out fine, they worked out, but the ones that never worked out, and it's ended up causing me pain and stuff like that, I realized that it was because when I was beginning I didn't look at the in between, where I was beginning to wherever I want to go, the in between, how things were going to pan out, and making decisions from that, So you realize that not looking at it, you just take the step, and you probably some steps, into the whole thing, and you realize that maybe it wasn't the right thing. Maybe I didn't go about things the right way. But by the time you realize that the sunk cost, has kicked in, now you've wasted some resources, energy, and time into it, and now stepping back is a case, going forward to is a case, and you find yourself, in confusion and in limbo, not knowing what to do, and it comes with a whole lot of struggle, So you talking about looking at, where you are and where you want to go, and looking at the journey and factoring into your decision making, the opportunities and the obstacles that you are likely to come about, and see the picture clearer. I think it's a great thing, and I want to appreciate you for bringing it up because if we all have to look at things from that angle, then I think we will always make the right decisions as far as our pursuit, towards
Mm.
whatever that we want to achieve is concerned. So I appreciate you on that. Now, we've spoken a lot, about so many stuff, in the
Loved it.
shortest possible time, and I don't know if I have any more questions to ask, but what I want to ask is that, is there anything that you think so far we've not tagged on, as far as your journey, what you do, who you are, the knowledge that you've served our audiences, and I've probably not asked you, and you want to talk about it?
Mm. Yeah, thanks for giving me that space.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think
You're
I
not
think we've
sure?
covered. I think we've covered
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
I think there's one thing that you said, which is about when I talked about wanting to create content and public speaking. You said it's about serving,
Yeah.
and I think that's really what it is. I think
Yeah.
like just being of service and trying to help. I think that's really where we get a lot of satisfaction in life, making ourselves of service to others. Like if we can try and make our lives a little bit, well, I want to make my life more about that because I I think that's where what makes me that I think that's where really the fulfillment is. And coming back to the purpose, it's like just working out how I as an individual can best serve. And I'm working that out right now. I'm serving as best as I know how,
Yeah.
but I know that I'm going to work out ways to do it even better. And I hope that journey never ends.
Yeah.
I think why I love what I do is because it's a constant process of self-awareness, self-development, and what I learn for myself and how I can improve, I can then pass on to others. So I love it because I continually invest in coaching for myself, so I can learn, and I can then pass that on. And
Yeah.
I just think that's, for me, it feels like quite a beautiful way to live,
Yeah.
because I'm always growing, and that's what's most important to me, and I help others do the same.
Yeah. Now, talking of always growing, talk to us about constant improvement
Mm.
and constant learning, and the idea of, I don't know, reading books, as far as the journey is concerned. How important is that thing? And how have you been a book lover? Have you read books, as far as your journey is concerned?
Yeah, lots that have really, really helped me.
Can you share with us some of the books that you've read? The
Sure.
reason why I'm asking this question is that myself, like most people, I have limited education,
Mm.
but if I am being the person that I am, today, and sitting in this space with you, it's as a result of, me developing the habit for constant learning
Yeah,
and constant improvement and becoming a reader.
yeah,
Reading is the reason why I am who I am today, and probably will be whoever I intend to be tomorrow, And so when it comes to the idea of reading and being a constant seeker of knowledge, I'm very big on that,
great.
And I know the same is you, because there's no way you could be whoever that you are today without, committing to constant improvement and, being a seeker of knowledge,
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think the we read book. I think we read books that we need to read, right? That fill certain gaps of ours. And I think the books that really helped me early in my career. Remember, I talked about my mindset and was
Yeah.
holding me back, and
Yeah.
there's levels of entitlement, sort of fixed mindset, and fear of failure. I read so many books at this time, and it
Yeah.
was that helped me just as much as the coaching.
Yeah.
So I read Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck,
Oh.
which helped me understand responsibility and to take
Yeah.
responsibility and realize entitlement. I read Mindset by Carol Dweck. Unbelievable book. She's the person who came up with the term growth mindset and that whole principle.
And fixed mindset.
And to me, the growth mindset was like the biggest shift in my mentality that helped me in my career, just to take on challenges. Give it to me. I'll fail, I'll go again. And there's so many books on failure, like Black Box Thinking by Andrew Said, Bounce by Andrew Said, similar to Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, like the principle, the 10,000 hour rule. Like you just purposeful practice, do that thing over and over. The book Grit by
Angela
Dweck,
yes,
that built on mindset and like just although about overcoming failure, just taking on challenges, trying again, and just putting yourself out there and being clear on where you want to get to, and repetition of that thing. Like the earlier we're gonna suck wherever we start. We all got to start somewhere.
I mean, not to preempt you on that. I suck like hell.
Yeah.
Look, in spite of the awareness and everything, I sometimes struggle. I tell
Mm.
people all the time, look, sometimes you
Me
may
too.
see me as this bubbly, whatever, whatever, but as to the shit that I'm dealing with over here,
Mm.
you have no idea about it. And recently,
Mm.
I've come across a book by Professor Steve Peters.
Yeah.
It's The Chip Paradox.
Yeah, I read that.
It's an amazing book. I would
Mm.
say so far, I'm not done reading it, but I would say so far it's one of the best books that I've read as far
Yeah.
as my personal development journey is concerned. Because you are talking on mindset. That book helps you understand, your mind, how those two voices are at work in your mind, and how
Yeah.
to go about it, and how to
Mm.
even harness the power from them to achieve whatever you want to achieve. And it's an incredible book, but go on with what
Yeah.
you are saying. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great book. I read that around the same time as well.
Yeah.
Because the book I've been reading recently, I haven't finished it, but it's an amazing book. I was recommended it by my coach called The Surrender Experiment.
Oh, Michael Singer.
Yeah, you read
I
it?
read that book. It's an incredible book,
Wow.
man.
Wow.
That book changed my life.
I think it's changing mine at the moment. I'm reading
Yeah.
it, I'm like,
And the reason why I'm saying whatever I'm saying is that even though the practice of surrendering, it doesn't happen on the spot. It takes time. It's something that you need to practice, and let it become a habit,
yeah.
that you embody. I would say so far so good, like it's really helped me, because when I read that book and I realized his story, that hey, we after all this material stuff out here, every day rushing over it. But this is a man who never wanted to have anything to do
Mm.
with some of this stuff. He wanted to be at his corner somewhere meditating. But here's the case that when he kept running, the spirit kept drawing him back to, the reality, ending up building multi-million companies. And,
Mm.
he's become this spiritual teacher, So that book is very big. Like it
Yeah, it's
changed
amazing.
my life,
Yeah. Yeah. Everything you just said. Yeah, I'm reading it at the moment, and I think it helped me. I was on a call to a CEO yesterday, and
Yeah.
he asked me if I provided a particular service.
Yeah.
I think before reading that book, I would have been like, "No, I don't. I don't do that." And like, don't know. But I just the guy, as Michael Singer, he was like, I was like, "No, I don't do that." But I was like, "But maybe we could together."
Oh.
And then we've agreed to create this particular. This CEO is going to help me.
Yeah.
We're going to co-create this package or product that's going to really help young people in the recruitment industry. And I just allowed whatever, I don't know, we just created that between us, and I
Yeah.
didn't let a preconceived idea of what I thought I should be doing happen. So
Yeah.
I think it's already
Surrendering.
yeah,
It's all
just
happening
surrendering. I
through
was like, this
surrendering, because
person's
you never
asked
know.
me to help with something,
Yeah.
and I think I can help. So why would I say no?
Yeah. Patrick, like honestly, I appreciate your time with us. Like I've enjoyed the conversation. Your energy is top notch, your insights, your knowledge, what you come into the world with, is so awesome. And I want to appreciate you on that. Like keep doing what you're doing, like people like you are what we need in the world. Because I I am of the view that every day we are crying for a better world, but that cannot happen without
Mm,
we the individuals,
mm,
being better, and it's the basis for my just written book, Heal Yourself, Heal the World, which will soon be published, and so I think what you are doing is
amazing.
phenomenal, and I want to appreciate you on that. Now, where can people find you? If people, if anybody is watching us and they
Yeah.
want to be in touch, for coaching services, whatever, work on project with you, where can they find you? Social media handles, website, wherever.
Yeah, so best place to find me is LinkedIn. That's where I'm most active. All the businesses that I work with or may work with, they all live on LinkedIn. So yeah, LinkedIn, Patrick Quinton-Smith, but
Yeah,
the Gen Z coach.
yeah,
You can find me
yeah.
there. So yeah, I want to shout at you, Manuel. Like you're a tough man. You're seriously resilient. You're seriously inspiring. Talking about your journey. Just the fact that you're here right now doing this is insane. I think you're an inspiration. So
Well,
I've really loved being on the podcast and chatting with you. It's been great.
thank you so much. But like I was telling you earlier, whenever people, have spoken about me, I tell them that it's not about me. It's about, how do I put it? It's about God Almighty, first of
Mm,
all, and it's about amazing people like yourself that I met, like Lloyd that I've met, and he's made things possible for us to be on this podcast and stuff like that, you know. So, in as much as sometimes people want to say, "Hey, Emmanuel, you are amazing" and stuff like that, I tell them that, you know what, it's not about me. It's about, you know, the help that people are granting me, you
of
know,
course.
out there, you know. So, I appreciate you. Now, the last question I ask every guest before we wrap up the conversation is about, you know, their definition of success, you know.
Mm,
And as you know, what our platform is all about, you know, we I want to know your definition of success, you know, because over the years, the idea of success being about material stuff, you
mm,
know, having this career, having this material, whatever that society, you know, pushes on us. And I feel like, no, it's not the right definition,
yeah,
it's not the right thing. I want to know from you, because I don't believe that, you know, society's definition of success is the right definition. And it's all about, you know, discovering who you are, you know, your purpose in the world, and
yeah,
living, you know, that purpose and having impact on people, you know. And that is what we here at Your Successful Self, you know, we stand for as far as success is concerned. So I want to know from you, you know, what is your definition of success?
yeah. I think it's simple for me. Inspiring others to live a better life,
Hmm.
to make the world a better place.
Yeah,
I think that's my why, really. To
yeah,
like and to help others live better lives. I think that extends so much. Like I look at the environment, you know, and how we can develop that, and we want to leave this world a little bit better
yeah,
than where we left it.
yeah,
Like if I feel like I've done that a bit,
yeah,
I'm happy. Like yeah, well, however small or big that may be.
yeah,
I think if I feel like I've contributed in that way, I'll feel that's success to me.
yeah,
And the relationships we go out to that, like having having that really strong support network around you. If I've got that, I think happy.
yeah.
Yeah, obviously
Wow.
got money, but
Wow, man. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, man. All right, guys, you've heard it all. The man has spoken. Whatever he's all about, you know, the insight, the knowledge, every bit of information that has helped him to become who he is today and helping millions of people out there and helping make the world a better place. You've heard it all I can say is that, you know, don't just watch or listen to the episode. You know, as you do, learn from it. You know, take a pen and a paper, take notes, learn from the knowledge and the wisdom that he shared with us. And if you also want to be in touch with him, with help for help, you know, he has shared with us where we can locate him or find him, and just be in touch and let him help you. And who knows, you might end up being, you know, the bigger guy, you know, out there inspiring, you know, millions of people out there. And we might, you know, bring you here, you know, be in the seat, you know, with us. So just do that. And like we say all the time when we are about to wrap up the interview, always and always remember to be your best successful self. My name is Emmanuel Anderson, and it's been great, you know, chatting with you, Patrick. And I feel so blessed, you know, bringing you on the podcast. Thanks so much for gracing our platform.
thanks, Manuel.
All
That's
right,
been awesome.
all right, all right,
Cheers.
all right, guys. See you in the next episode. We appreciate you so much.